Hey guys, this is John. I'm playing Junior 64 in the 5-minute pool on ICC. Second game of the session against this Spanish IM. Let's play knight f3 on move 2 just to mix it up. And, yeah, he plays this. Okay. So, I think I'm going to play the London system. Yeah, I'm going to play bishop f4. Just trying this out. Let's play e3. Normal stuff. Bishop g7, I'm expecting. No, he goes after the bishop right away. Okay, well, let's make him work for this bishop at least. And pull this here. If he goes g5, I wonder if I can pull my knight away. So, like knight fd2, let's say. I don't know the specifics, but as far as I can tell, that's a reasonable choice. Let's try it. So that way if he takes, I get to take on h5, and at least he has double isolated pawns. That's going to be my contention. He has the bishop pair, though, in a position that could become open. So, you know, we got to keep that in mind. Here, I feel like fast development is more important than structure, maybe. So I'm thinking about knight c3. Don't know that I want to attack this yet with knight f3. He's just going to play bishop e7 if I do. But, you know what? I might have time for c4, actually. Knight c3 was my first... Well, now, let's play knight c3. We're going to go with the fast move. The faster move. Okay, he wants a queen trade because that would repair his structure. I say no to that. I do not want your queen trade, sir. Let's pull the queen back, maybe with knight f3 in mind. This reminds me of the Trompowsky variation. Sometimes this happens in that line, where black ends up with doubled h-pawns. Okay, knight e4 or knight f3 maybe? Knight here kind of intrigues me. Play queen g6, though. Don't know how I feel about that. Let's go knight f3. Bring the knight back. Hit the queen, hit the pawn. If queen f6, I do have knight e4. Okay, here, maybe d5. Just take the opportunity to open the position. Yeah, let's play it. I don't think he wants to take and allow knight takes d5, so probably this knight is going to move again. Plays knight e5. Okay, so here I could take, and play bishop b5 check. Seems interesting. Yeah, let's take the start. This is a forcing line. Check, bishop d7, take on e6, let's say. And I feel like something good will happen from that. So yeah, let's check. I could also take on d7 first, but he'll take with the queen in that case. So I think taking here is probably a little better. The London is just one system I want to have in my arsenal. I played it against Niklas Huschenbett, but other than that, I have limited experience in it. Okay, so I could go into an endgame if I want. I know this h-pawn is pretty weak. If I swap down. What else could I do? Knight d5 maybe? Knight d5 he just castles, I think. And everything is safe. On the other hand, the endgame is kind of appealing. He's got weaknesses, but I don't know. Burning a little time. Yeah, knight d5 is just going to castle. Okay, take. I'm considering taking or queen f3. I'm not quite sure which one. Maybe even queen h5, actually. Queen h5, he might just castle, though. But then I can play rook d1. I feel like I can win the h-pawn. Let's play this. It's my 2 minutes and 8 seconds, but time management's so bad. So bad. Okay, rook here. All I can do is laugh for now. So we're going to win a pawn, I think. I think he's going to play bishop d6. He does that move instead. Okay, so let's take. I'm happy to see that. I was more fearful of the other move, bishop d6, keeping more pieces on board. Here, he's got all these weaknesses. We haven't won the pawn, but the position has simplified somewhat. Okay, so I can take on f7 here. Yeah, and then I'll be threatening rook d1 check. King c8 and queen e8 or queen d7. So he's got to be awfully careful now, I think. Knight e4 looks good. Rook d1 also looks good. I think knight e4. Yeah, just do that. Probably queen's coming back to e7, if I had to guess. Do I really want to take that bad bishop? Such an awful looking piece. Now, let's just swap down. We'll leave that bishop on board. It's, like I said, a really bad piece for him. h3, make sure he can't offload his bad pawn. Next, I'm going to play rook d1. Take the file, get my king up. Try to use this extra pawn that I have. Oh, I hope that's not my connection. Something is lagging right now. This is not good. That might be my connection. My machine is lagging at the moment. This is bad. Okay. That cost me a little bit of time there. So let's get ready to bring the king up. Probably he'll post his rook on f8. Wow, he's going to swap down here. Don't think that's a good idea by him. Not at all. Bring the king up. It's coming here. Now he's got to play h5, I think. It's practically forced. No, he still doesn't do that. Now he's just losing all his pawns. f3? Okay. I guess he could have played bishop b6 there, actually, instead of bishop e1, but I still think that would have been awful for him. Let's bring the king up. Let's give a check here. See where that king goes. Go here, try to corral the e-pawn. Ideally with check. Take that guy. Check. Can win the bishop, but I gotta be careful how I do it. Check here. Yeah, probably check. And go take this guy. I think I'm just gonna push. Easiest. He's got to take that and then go win the a-pawn. It's really time-consuming for him. Take this guy in the process. Check. Go block the pawn. Yeah, and he resigned. Okay, so he made a series of bad decisions there as far as the trades go. Definitely... Well, okay, like starting, let's say right here. So we get into this endgame with rook and knight against rook and bishop. I'm up a pawn. His structure is worse, too. His structure is pretty awful. Pawns on e5, h6, h4. All long-term weaknesses. If you're black here, you should not trade minor pieces or rooks at all. Definitely not. You know, I could take on d6, but black would probably welcome that trade because it gets him into perhaps a drawish rook endgame. But if you're black here, I should say it's probably more important not to trade rooks. You might trade the minor pieces in some scenario, or white might do it himself, but definitely you don't want to trade rooks. So I think rook d8 is a pretty bad move here, because after takes and the king comes up, my knight is just dominant on this central square. It's pretty stable too. I can always put the pawn on f3, and he just let my king waltz right in. Even here, he could have made it more difficult. He could have played h5 to stop me from coming up to g4, and I think I'd still be winning there, but... also here, after f3, I think bishop b6 would have been a better shot. Attacking e3, and that at least ensures that if I take h4, he can win that pawn. Again, like probably still losing for black, but he just basically let me go take all of his fixed and weak pawns. Knight was just hopping around and eventually won. In the opening, I had an initiative. I don't know about this whole early knight h5 idea. I know this is possible to try to hunt down the dark square bishop. Black can play this way before white gets a chance to play h3 and the bishop back to h2. But this produces an interesting imbalance, right? Because when I play knight fd2 and he takes, he has the bishop pair, but double isolated pawns. I feel like white's position is a little easier to play here, despite the long-term disadvantage of not possessing the bishop pair. Here I was just trying to strike with d5 and get this check in. Not sure about queen h5. This looks like a key position right here. Do I take on d7 and play that endgame? Do I play some queen move as I did in the game? I don't know. I think castling is correct. I like that decision of his. After rook d1, though, I definitely thought bishop d6 was his strongest bet. Queen e7 and allowing me, again, to swap down when he's got these weak pawns and then get my king to safety. I was breathing a bit of a sigh of relief there. Yeah, and then queen g5 was a mistake too. And I think his position is already a little tricky at this point because you can see the queen is having to babysit numerous weak pawns. f7, e5, h4. But queen g5 loses f7, and from here, especially with his help with the trades, it was smooth sailing. Let me just run the engine real quick. I almost thought my computer was going to crash during that game. I've been having a few minor computer issues, and when it just froze up for like 10 seconds there, I got really concerned. Okay, knight fd2. He could preserve his knight. That's right. He could play knight g7 here, as the computer's saying. Bishop here, and maybe even come out to f5 if he wants to track it down this way. But you can see that he's loosened his king side. His king may not be completely safe if he castles short. Yeah, so after this trade, the computer definitely prefers white. Knight c3. I was debating whether I want to play c4 and knight c3. Oftentimes you've heard me talk about the relationship between the c-pawn and the queenside knight. That's a good example of it right here. If the game was slower, I would play c4 and knight c3 because that symbiotic relationship, pawn on c4, knight on c3, is a great one. Great one to strive for. But with the position being as it is and black having no pieces developed, and with these bad pawns, I felt like it was a priority to play quicker here. So hence knight c3. Queen g5, don't want to trade and allow our opponent to help out his pawn structure. That would give away a lot of our advantage. Probably the entire advantage. So I pulled the queen back. Computer likes queen e2 a bit better. I just tried not to block the bishop. Let's see what it thinks about the sharp play coming here. d5, yeah, taking. Queen f3 is a good move here. Maybe that's because if black moves this bishop, like bishop d7, I can take and then go grab on b7. Didn't really think about that. I just thought about the check and then taking here. So now I'm curious about this position. Okay, computer doesn't mind queen h5. Says this is okay. Castles, yep, also says rook d1's good. I want to stop queen d2 check. Yeah, and here I was heavily criticizing his next move, queen e7, and I see that the computer agrees that bishop d6 is best, and he will lose the h-pawn, but I'm castling in the direction of his attack down the g-file, and the position could hold some compensation for black. It's not a slam dunk for white, this extra pawn. Whereas, when I'm able to swap down, like once we get these trades in, you see how fast this advantage goes up. Get the beautiful knight on e4. Maybe I even missed a better move here. Queen f5 is rated a little higher, but in the interest of time and simplicity, I just wanted to do this. Yeah, I think here, like, rook d8 is equivalent to resigning almost. It's just, I don't know, maybe he was trying to play off my time, but there's nothing in the way of activity for black here. He's just kind of waiting for me to take all his pawns. Okay, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that game. And I've got one more game this session. I'm going to try to make it a good one. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.